What up, though? This is the Pending Millionaire Podcast. I'm Michael Warner, your day trader and also the CEO of Pending Millionaire Collection.
And I'm your other co-host, Andre Bell, financial advisor of ELE Wealth Management.
Ooh, we have a special guest in the house today. Yes. We have this wonderful Dr. Teresa D. Cox, but let me tell you something about her background. She has an MBA in global management from the University of Phoenix. She has a business administration degree in general management from Davenport University. Also, she has an associate's arts degree in computer science management from Northwood University. And she also has an honorary doctorate degree from Isaiah University.
Big doctor.
Ooh, we have the wonderful Dr. Teresa D. Cox. Let's give everybody a round of applause for Dr. Teresa Cox.
And that D stands for degreed up.
Degreed up, yes. So, wow. How are you doing today?
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Yes. You look fabulous today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like this pink.
Thank you. Yeah. I came to brighten your day.
Oh, yeah. Okay, come on now.
My day was bright until I seen it.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. So who are you? Can you just tell me a little bit about your history?
Born and raised here in Detroit. Mm-hmm. And the Lord has allowed me to travel all over the world, all over the nation, all over the world. But started out working when I was 14. Mm-hmm. And so I never had the opportunity to work in like McDonald's or any fast food or anything like most teenagers. It was like the way my destiny started from that point was my first job was working at Point Dodge dealership at the age of 14. I was really 14. They weren't supposed to hire me until I was 15, but I turned 15 the week that I started.
Oh.
And so I was really 14 when I started working there. So I was working in the office, and then I left there and worked for at the time, he was the president of the State Bar of Michigan. Mm-hmm. I worked for an attorney's office when I left there, and I was working downtown for one of the top attorneys in the state of Michigan at the age of 16. And then I left there because a door opened while I was in high school. I always wanted to work for GM. Mm-hmm. And so the door opened when I left there to go intern at GM at the age of 16. Wow. So I left the attorney's office and went into corporate. So I would leave high school and then I would drive to GM after school. So most of my friends were like working in McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. And no judgment there. I'm just saying my path was always different. Yeah.
You were always destined for more. Like she said, no shade to anybody flipping burgers.
Right.
We all got to start somewhere.
We all have to start somewhere because trust me, working in that dealership in that little file office, trying to file all those papers, I messed up a whole lot of days. So it wasn't, I don't want it to seem like it was easy. I mean, it was still a job, and I was working, and I started off making $3.35 an hour. That's how much I was making at the age of 15, $3.35 an hour. But guess what? I was so proud because I had my own money. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about ownership. It was mine. So when I cashed my check, it wasn't much, but it was mine. Mm-hmm. I owned it.
Ooh, see, and that's why we love to talk about, because your history, the path that you went, is so great. Because last episode we had talked about ownership, and this episode we want to highlight you on how you own everything, leaving from corporate America to where you at now.
Okay.
So here's some of the things I just want to touch on you. Like when was the moment when you just realized, like, okay, this working at GM is no longer serviceable and I need to start my own business? How did that work for you?
Well, I guess I need to back up to when I was working at GM at the age of 16.
Okay.
And then I was interning, and so I would leave high school and go up, and at the time they called it the co-op program. Mm-hmm. So I was co-oping in corporate America, and then when I graduated, I went away to business college at Northwood University. Most of you are aware, in the state of Michigan. It's 3 hours away, here in Midland, Michigan, actually. And so I went away to pursue my degrees in business because I just knew from the start that I was supposed to be in business. I didn't know exactly what areas, I just knew. So I went there, I was living on campus, went through the same struggles most teenagers go through when they first go to college, got into the partying scene and got sidetracked and all of that. Sometimes going to class, sometimes not. And let's just be real. Yeah. So I just want to encourage people that it's not how you start off, it's how you end up. And so we all have our stories. And so I went through that whole season where I got into the drinking and the smoking and the partying and all of that. But my first year, I was able to get back on track by my second year. And what ended up happening was I came home my second year for summer break, and I got a job offer from Chrysler. And so Chrysler wanted to hire me full time.
While you were still in school?
While I was still in college. And so I was working there during the summer, and then the job offer came in, and then I had to make a decision. Am I going to stop going to college and stay here in Detroit and work for Chrysler full time and make this money, or do I finish my degree? So long story short, I get to the point where I'm trying to make a decision about Chrysler, and I actually ended up getting a job offer from General Motors. Remember, that's how I started. Before I went to college, I was already interning at GM. So it was like a no-brainer. So what I did was the second part of the year, I got hired in at GM, and I decided to complete my associate degree while working for GM full-time. And so Northwood allowed me to finish up by what they call correspondence. So I was sending in my classwork, mailing in my classwork, and they allowed me to actually get my first degree while working at GM. Of course, GM paid for everything back then. That's why you hear people say they call it Generous Motors, because back then it was Generous Motors. They paid for college, they paid for all education, we had benefits, we had full-time, we had unlimited sick time. Everything, when you worked for GM back then, it truly was an experience. And so I made up in my mind I was going to capitalize off of what they were offering. And so a lot of people started teasing me because as soon as I finished my associates, I jumped right back into college to start working on my undergrad, my bachelor's degree. And so I would tell people, I'm like, you guys better take advantage of this because one day this is not going to be available to us. And so they made fun of me. They were like, you're always in school. You're always talking about what you're going to do. And so I just want to encourage people because you're always going to have people that's going to talk negative about your dreams and your goals and your visions. And yes, I was making good money at GM. And a lot of people envied the fact that I was 19 working for GM at that time. I was 19 years old. And I went and got my first brand new car on my own. My dad didn't have to co-sign. My mom didn't have to co-sign. Life was good. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I wasn't fully happy because I always knew that I was supposed to be working for myself.
That ownership work.
Exactly.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to touch on when you talked about college. College is often a young adult's first big test of discipline.
Yes.
Right? Because you have now the freedom to choose whether you want to go to class or not. You don't have mom waking you up to make sure that you get to school on time. It's completely up to you. You may have an 8 a.m. and you don't feel like getting up to go to class. And who's going to tell you not to? Nobody. So that is the first big test of discipline. And like you said, I mean, all of us fall down into the college trap of partying, right? I mean, they have so many opportunities to do the wrong thing in college, but it's just a test to your discipline and what you step firm in and making the decision to say, hey, even though I made some mistakes early, I'm going to finish strong. Because like you said, it's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish. And we can tell from the doctor in front of your name that you finished strong. So shout out to you because a lot of people can't earn that degree. They just aren't willing to make it happen. So
yeah, you definitely have to put in a lot of work to make your dreams happen. And I don't want even like the young people to get discouraged because things are so different now. We don't have Generous Motors anymore. It's difficult motors. Every place is difficult. And so my heart goes out to this generation because it wasn't easy for us. We had to work. Those of us that did survive and we ended up in great positions or whatever. but my heart goes out because it's like you guys have to work twice as hard to get those same strides. So when I came back and I started working at GM and all of that, it was a very difficult time because the office that I was working in, we were making good money, but these people were really, like, I'm telling you, they used to make us be accountable for breaks. You couldn't take five minutes over your lunch break, 5 minutes over your break, and if you were late 5 minutes, they made you make it up after work. So it only enhanced my work ethic. Sometimes it feels like things are designed to kill you, but it's actually your perspective. I now know, they say hindsight is 20/20. Looking back on that, it actually enhanced my disciplines when it came to work ethics. So I learned to not take advantage of time because time is a commodity that you can't get back. We can get money back. You can make your money. You can lose money. You can make it back. We all have that option. But once time is gone, you can't get time back. And so it really enhanced my disciplines as it pertains, again, to work ethics. And it taught me, I was in school the whole time. I was at GM. So I would go to school, I would work during the day and leave GM and then go to take my classes at night. So I signed up for the accelerated degree program because in my mind I said, okay, I'm taking these classes, but I got to hurry up and get to where I'm going. I just kept feeling like something was always in my way. And I was always determined that whatever was in my way, I got to push through this. So I wasn't trying to be one of those, like with the testimony, it took me 8 years to get my bachelor's degree. So I started signing up for accelerated classes, which meant I was taking 4 and 5 classes in one semester. And those were the times that I would come out and I would end up on the dean's list because I was putting that pressure on myself. I'm telling y'all, it was crazy.
Dang, accelerated path and on a dean's list?
Yeah.
That's not easy. Because, when you're on an accelerated track, you already take on more classes than the average person. So to take on more work, more workload, and still be working during the day, and then having to go to school at night, and you still ended up on the dean's list? Shout out to you, Dr. Cox.
Yeah.
And that's what's so special about it. Because you got to look at it like this. You stayed in your lane. And I had posted this on my Instagram story at the time of this recording. I said, stay in your lane and act like you're an SRT Jeep, right? Reason why? Because you're going fast. But you got to push the negative people out your way. You pushed a lot of negative people out your way to get where you're at right now. So I challenge everybody under the sound of my voice. Make sure you stay in your lane. Don't go left, don't go right. Stay right there. Because the path that you're going is your destiny path. Do not veer away from your destiny path. You see her right now, and you see where she's at. She has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees here. So I had to commend you on that. I'm so sorry. I just had to say that.
Oh no, we just here flowing.
Yeah, like you said, when you said stay in your lane, like I think about the horse racing, right? And we all watch, I'm sure you guys watch the Kentucky Derby. And those horses, they have on blinders so they can't see the horse next to them. Because it doesn't matter what the person next to you running their race looks like. That's good. It never matters if you feel like someone's further along in their journey than your journey, than you are. All that matters is that you run your race and that you get to your checkered finish line first. And that's why they have blinders on their eyes, because it doesn't matter what's going on left or right. It matters what's going right in front of you, because that's what God has set out for your life, not to sit there and compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. You can't be happy looking at someone else saying, I wish I had their life, because you don't know what they went through. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what they gave up. You don't know what deceivious things they may have done. But you know God has got you on a path and on the plan to success. So just stay firm and stay on your course.
Awesome.
That's
good. I like that.
My goodness, it's almost about to turn church in here.
You can go there.
You can definitely go there. So discuss about the time when you were at GM. Discuss a little bit more, like when you start moving up the ladder. I really want to touch on those, like, cause there's people here, they want to start their business and they moving up the ladder, but you feeling like this isn't your time to really you got to break away from. And I know that was a difficult decision for you as well. So you can just discuss that.
That's right, because I know GM, you said it's where you want it to be. And
Yeah.
see, God has a funny way of doing things. And I say funny, but it's not really funny. He knows exactly what he's doing. He puts you in exactly what you asked for, right? So you had it in your heart that you wanted to be in GM, and then you got there and said, wow, I've been here, but I know there's more for me. I know that I can do more. I know God has more for me. And maybe GM was just a stepping ladder to make sure you got those 4 degrees.
Absolutely.
Right? To aid you into achieving those things. But that wasn't the end of your story. That wasn't where God was putting the finishing touches on you.
Exactly. Exactly. So let me just interject here, because after working for GM, I started when I was 19, as I stated, but then I ended up getting married at 21.
Oh.
So add that to the pot. And he had a son when we got married. So I became like a mother, a wife. I'm working full time. I'm going to school, and I still have my focus and my drive. So I just want to say I've been on the side of being a teenager and pushing through struggles and adversities to reach my goals. And then I can also relate to those that are watching that get married and then feel like your stuff is now on the back burner because now you have a spouse, you have household responsibilities, you got bills to pay. And I never stopped. So even after I got married, I stayed in school. So I went ahead and got my undergrad from what we now know as Davenport University. It used to be Detroit College of Business. I don't know if you guys know that. But they changed the name.
That's a little bit history.
Yeah. So it's now known as Davenport, but back then it was Detroit College of Business. So when I got my undergrad, again, I was still working at GM. And so I got my first car when I was 19. And so when I got my bachelor's degree, I bought another vehicle. That was my present to myself. So I bought myself a brand new car the year that I graduated with my undergrad. So then I went on. After that, I took a small break and I got right back in school for my master's degree. And so I started taking online classes for my master's degree, MBA in global management with the University of Phoenix. And so I continued to work hard and take care of my household responsibilities as a mother. And so my husband and I, we were married 5 years before we had another child. So I still had a child, my what we call, I don't refer to him as my stepson. Okay, he's my son.
Period.
So,
Period.
Right, exactly.
If you marry into a family,
exactly.
it doesn't, you shouldn't put that extra.
Right,
That's your child.
Right.
That's amazing. I mean,
to me, that just carries a negative connotation, and we just try to avoid that possible. It was moving real fast.
How did you take time to slow everything down and still remember who you were and what path you were on? Because I can only imagine. I mean, I think life has moved faster than me, and I'm 26. I just got married last year. We bought a house, and I'm like, okay, things are moving fast. Like, hold on, let's put the brakes on it. It's like, how do you still take time to slow everything down and still stay true to who you are and the path that you are on? Because like you said, you became a wife and a mother, so you had no time to adjust becoming a wife first and then becoming a mom. And then you had a second child. So how was that? Like,
yeah, it was, looking back on it now, I have to be honest and say it's always been God. I can't sit here and act like, okay, I just did all this by myself. God was always first and foremost in my life. And I want to make sure that the people that are watching understand we can't really, I mean, you can get money outside of God, but most of the time it's the way you get it. And is it going to last? And are you going to be happy? You can get money, but are you going to have peace?
Right.
Those things matter to me. So I didn't just want to have money and still be depressed, or have money and still be fighting with my spouse all the time. It was like, okay, I want to have money, enjoy life, but still have peace in my home, and still have peace in my mind, and still be content with in this place that I am with God. So God has always been that place that I went to And so you asked about how did I do that? It was like I had to make time for prayer and meditation. I tell people, a lot of times people have a prayer life, but they don't leave room for meditation. You have to have prayer and meditation. They must go hand in hand, because prayer is when we talk to God, but meditation is when God talks to us.
Ooh, that's a word right
Okay,
there.
so
Come on
it's a
now,
lot of
man.
people praying and praying and praying and praying, and then they're still lost because they don't have any answers. You have to wait in that time of meditation. That means you have to explain to your spouse or explain to your children, explain to your family, your friends, okay, this is my window. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and make sure you don't allow people to disrupt that time that you have with God. That time is very important. So however the people get to God in their private time, they need to make sure that that is a part of their regimen every single day. Every single day. You cannot exclude that.
Right.
So we have moments of self-care. We go and get our massages. You know what we do. We go get our manicures and all this other stuff. That's good. That's awesome. Whatever we do for self-care. But that time of meditation, the spiritual part of us is just as important, if not more important, than what we're seeking in the natural.
Right.
So you cannot neglect the spiritual side of you and just focus on chasing money.
Right.
Okay?
Even the word tells us that. The word says to meditate on my word day and
Day
night.
and night.
Day and night.
Day and night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta
yeah.
have time for that meditation.
Exactly.
That's a word, Dr. Cox.
Exactly.
Whew. I'm still at awe here. I'm still at awe. I'm sorry. I'm like a kid at a candy store. I'm looking like, oh my gosh, this is prime nuggets, because a lot of people don't get this, right? And as I say, this right here is going to help you cultivate your mind, cultivate of who you are and how to progress, right? It starts with this. It starts with praying and meditating. You have to pray. You also have to meditate. Cut that phone off. That's what you need to do. If you're wondering the reason why you're not getting to where you need to be, this is the first step you should do. As we see as successful business owners, this is what they do. They wake up early in the morning and they pray. Then they meditate. A lot of people that I know meditate, and that's so key. That's so key, because meditation, it helps you calm your mind. You have to stay focused. The last episode we talked about having a sober mind. To be a business owner, you have to have a sober mind to make business decisions. So right now, in this moment, you have to have a calm mind to make business decisions. You cannot be all over the place. If you are all over the place, you are not going to get where you need to be. And that's so powerful. I just wanted to touch on that as well. Apostle, sorry.
You sound like an apostle. You ain't missed.
Dr. Cox, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just keep touching on it.
I got you. So I want to ask, while you were at GM, when was the time where you were like, okay, I feel like I've gotten all that I've gotten out of this opportunity. God, I know you told me that there's more in my heart. When did you feel like, okay, I need to transition out of corporate America and start owning your business, owning your brand, and owning your future?
Okay. So during that time when I was there and I had just completed my master's degree and GM paid for that, and I remember distinctly that the cost of my master's degree was almost $30,000 that GM paid for. They paid for tuition, books, all of that. I didn't have to spend a dime on my books, none of that. So I'm just telling you, it really was a good situation that God had me in, and I was afforded the opportunity to get transferred. I got promoted. I ended up making more money. I had my own office. So before we get to the transition, I just want to let the people know, okay, I wasn't just there working a job and then no, God allowed me to experience that whole corporate experience. I saw all sides of the spectrum and experienced the traveling and all of that. And I was working for one of the top areas in the company, the research and development area. I was at the tech center. I got transferred to the GM Tech Center, and I was working with one of the top innovation teams, research and development, and we were working on the fuel cell program. So fuel cell technology has been worked on since going back to the 40s and 50s. So I was working with scientists literally from all over the world. I was working in a place where I was surrounded by people from Russia, Egypt, India, places, Australia, all literally all over the world, Europe. And we had an unlimited budget. And so I literally had a GM corporate credit card where I could spend up to $25,000 a month. No questions asked, no questions. And so I did not abuse that, okay? And so God was testing my integrity. He was testing my character. He was testing my work ethic, my disciplines. And so I want to make sure that the people understand that God was continuing to build my character, even though I had access to all of that. I never abused it. I never stole anything. I never took the corporate card and put gas in my car and all that. I never did that. And so what ended up happening was they ended up making cutbacks in that area. I ended up on disability because I broke my left foot in 4 places. We had an event and we went skating, and the place where we were, they didn't have any carpet, or it was just like a bare floor. And I went to get off of the rink, from skating, and my foot slipped. My skate went back behind my leg, and when I fell back, my leg went back, my foot went back, and my foot was literally twisted around backwards. And so they had to rush me to the hospital. And so I went into emergency surgery the very next morning in the hospital. This is part of the story in terms of the transition, so I have to tell this. So I ended up having emergency surgery. They had to turn my foot all the way around. And I still have, to this day, I have 9 pins in my left foot, and there was a transfer screw that went from the left side of my foot to the right side of my foot because they thought my foot was broken in three areas. It was actually 4 when they went in there to perform surgery. So I ended up in a wheelchair. I ended up going through this whole process. I had to go through therapy. They thought I was going to be walking with a limp, and it was just my life just like got flipped upside down. And so while I was on disability, I got a call from HR, and they basically said, you have 90 days to find another job. And they knew I was on disability. I wasn't even back on my feet yet.
Walk, let alone find a job.
Yeah. So long story short, I had applied. Now remember, I got 3 degrees. I got my master's degree. I got all kind of connections. I'm applying for positions. I applied for over 90 positions in 90 days, and I didn't get one call back. I called all of my executive friends that had positions where they could just bring me in and just like, okay, nobody said I'll cover you until you find something. Like, everybody turned their back on me during that time. And so here I am. I'm laying flat on my back, and I had to stay at my mom and dad's house because their master bedroom was on the first floor. They gave up their room to sleep upstairs because all of my rooms were on the second floor at my house. So my husband was there with the kids, and I was at my parents' house. And I'm like, oh my God, my life just literally flipped upside down overnight. And so I heard the voice of God saying that it was time for me to do something different. And he said, are you going to do what I want you to do? And I'm just like sitting there, like not paying, like trying to ignore the voice, like I'm not responding to this. And
I'm applying for these jobs.
I'm about, as soon as I wake up, I'm about to apply for some more jobs, make some more phone calls. And I lie to you not, a pain shot through my foot. Like, I can't even describe. It was worse than labor pains. It was like, oh my God. And I yelled out, and all I kept saying was, yes, yes, I'll do it, yes. And so part of the testimony is that they phased out my position while I was on disability. The same company I just told y'all was Generous Motors, and I loved it. This is what I wanted. They didn't send me a get well card. They didn't send me flowers. They just literally phased out my position when I couldn't even walk. Yeah.
Fight for it.
Yeah. They gave me 90 days. And I had been with them 18 years. 18 years. So I gave them basically, not including the time when I was in high school interning. So if you count that time, it was like 20 years.
Jesus.
So, long story short.
That's to show you right there that as much time as you give a company,
Exactly.
they always will put their goals before yours. And you have to make sure to stay true to who you are and your goals and where you want to be. Because
Yes.
no one is going to care about your goals and dreams more than you.
And people need to understand when you're working these jobs and you working all this overtime and you doing all this, you driving through snowstorms when nobody else would come to work and you think they're going to do this for you. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Getting that holiday pay time.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Because you're fueling somebody else's dream. You're fueling somebody else's goal. So if you really look at it, think back on all the times that you sacrificed your life and you sacrificed your time to upgrade a company. But have they ever gave back to you? That's the number one question. If you have your own, you're going to give back to your company because something is good is going to happen in return. So I challenge you today. Think about that. Think about it. As Dr. Teresa Cox said, she was laying down in bed and she heard the voice of the Lord say, are you ready? Are you going to leave this job, basically? And she said yes. So think about it. If you have that voice in your head saying, are you ready? Are you going to do this on your own? Are you ready to take yourself into that uncomfortable place? Very uncomfortable place, because I know that was uncomfortable for you just to say yes.
Yeah.
So are you ready? Are you ready to take that challenge? I challenge you that. Think about that while we are on this podcast, because this is something really, really good that can touch your life. I apologize.
Oh, no, we're just flowing. And I was there and I was in that situation. They phased out my position, gave me 90 days. Well, after the 90 days, they called me in. They said, you have to come in. You got to sign your papers. You're basically, they call it downsizing, but in real life terms, you get fired.
Yeah.
That's what it really
Sign
means.
your termination
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah.
So here I am, out
They
on
give you a
disability.
severance package?
Yeah, they did. They actually did. And so I went in, and my executive, he loved me so much. He was about 6 feet, maybe 6'7", 7'8", something like that. Huge guy, but a big heart. And we kept waiting for him to come in the HR room, and it was taking him forever. So he came in. He's literally crying. He literally had been crying, and he had to prepare a letter because he just couldn't bring to terms that they had to let me go. And he knew my situation. And so I told him, I said, you know what? You don't have to feel bad. I told him, I said, no, I'm good. Trust me. I said, I'm good. I said, thank you for every bonus. Thank you for increases in my pay. Thank you for allowing me to have my own office. I just started thanking him you got to learn how to be grateful, even in times of transition, because I just started thanking him for everything he ever did for me. And so they walked me out the door. They called the lady. They took my laptop. They took my badge. And 20 years of my life was gone just like that. I went to my car. I got in my car. And I sat there. And for 3 minutes, I just sat there, couldn't move. And tears were streaming down my face. And I'm glad you said what you said, because this is what I heard God say to me. He said, I've allowed you to live your dream. Now it's time for you to walk in destiny. That was all I needed to hear. Because remember, from the start of this testimony, that's what I wanted.
Right.
From before I was 16, I wanted to work for GM. God allowed me to have that experience. I'm grateful for that.
Right.
I don't despise any of that stuff that I went through. I'm grateful for the opportunity to say, God allowed me to walk in something that I wanted. He really did give me the desire of my heart. But it wasn't my destiny.
Sometimes even the doors that we want to be in aren't the doors that fit us. And like you said, gratitude is a door for more. And you, even in your time of dealing with losing your job, to express gratitude, that was enough. And
Yeah.
that was what opened the door, and God, I know God had more for you. You knew God had more for you.
I did.
It was just your time.
It was your time. It was your season. You did what you were called to do. But during that season, you learned from a lot of different experiences. A lot of people don't understand your job also has a place in your life. When I used to talk about my job, and I shared this with you, every job had a meaning. I started when I worked at Jimmy John's, I worked at Under Armour, and then I progressed. But why? What happened during that time? Well, when I used to work at Jimmy John's, I learned how to do business. I learned how to count money. Then I worked at Under Armour. I learned how to sell clothes. I learned how to talk to customers. And then I progressed on later in life. So that's the key thing. That's what I would always tell everybody. Learn. If God put you in a place where you have to learn, sit there and learn until your time is called to leave.
Exactly.
Do not leave prematurely, because if you leave prematurely, guess what? You're blocking your blessing. You're blocking your destiny. And
you
that's
wait till your uptime.
Sometimes you gotta wait till your uptime. Shout out to Uptime for providing me the energy today for this podcast. So go pick up your raspberry here. I mean your raspberry lemonade. I'm gonna take a little sip.
I'm gonna have to try that. Have you tried that?
Oh, I have. You gotta make sure you get your uptime.
Yes.
Let me put this down here.
That's what's up.
Yep. Go get your
uptime. It was your uptime. It was your time to get up out of there.
Yes.
And God had something more in store for you.
Yes.
You were just in a place and willing to receive that. And that's what it's about. A lot of people, they get in a job and they get complacent and they forget that God told us that he will give us the desires of our heart.
Yes, absolutely.
We say, well, this job is paying my bills. This job is doing everything for me. Why would I leave? Why would I walk away? But God said, this is not where you wanted to be. This was a stepping stone in your ladder, in your journey to get you to the next place in your destination, to get you to the next stop.
Yes.
That's powerful right there. Oh, I feel. Let me touch on this.
Go ahead.
I feel it. I'm feeling it. I think I want to challenge you today. A lot of people have lost their job and things of that nature, and I want you to challenge yourself. Think about all the things that your job has provided you. I know some things were good and some things were bad, but some things is a learning lesson. So don't feel like, oh, I lost this job because of this, that, and the third. No, this is the season where God is breaking you away from where you are trying to be in and put you in a place where you need to be in. You got to walk in your destiny. You said, I want to walk in my destiny. I want to walk in the place where I need to be. Well, first of all, you got to stay in the lane, right? Once you stay in that lane, that's when you're going to start understanding where your destiny is. See, you can't look left and right. Dr. Teresa, Dr. Cox, I'm sorry, you didn't look left or right. You saw when they gave you those papers, you didn't say, oh, well, why are they still here? Why are they still here? You were thankful. You were thankful. And you also said, thank you for everything you've done. But also you took that knowledge that you learned from GM and you provided in your day-to-day life. And I think I commend you on that, because a lot of people would just give up. Just right there. They say, this is it. We're done. I'm done with GM. I'm done with life. But you said, no. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I thank you, GM, for allowing me to give 3 earned degrees. And this is it. I'm cutting the corner. I'm stopping it right here. And I'm just going to follow the voice of the Lord and move forward. You have to move forward. Do not stay stagnant. Do not stay stuck. You're going to have a season where you're going to get low in your mind. But you got to understand this. You cannot stop. You got to keep pushing. Push. I want to shake you right now. Push yourself. Wake up. Just keep on pushing. I had to say that. I felt.
Yeah.
You felt moved.
I felt moved. Yeah.
Yes.
And see, you at that moment, you could have decided, all right, well, no job. I can go to being a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
I can let my man be the provider.
Yeah.
You know, but no. But you said there's something else for me here.
Absolutely.
Your work wasn't done yet. So what was that transitional phase? Because I know you just didn't leave GM. All right, my business is going to start today, right? I know you probably had some time where you had to sit and meditate on what God had told you.
I did.
And what did he reveal to you in that time? When did you feel like, okay, you're giving me enough ammunition now to go out and be on my own?
So the day that they walked me to the door and I sat in the car and I heard God speaking to me, that same day I went home and I had this big fluffy chair, and we had this big fluffy chair in our bedroom, and I sat in that chair And I think my husband at the time was at work, so I was there by myself. I think the kids were at school. And I was just sitting there, and I was just in a position of meditation. I also want to say to those that are watching, a lot of times people have misconstrued meditation, and they make it spooky, because a lot of times people take something that's pure, and then they make it toxic, or they change the whole meaning of it. But like you said, meditation is in the Word of God. And so it's simply a time where you get quiet. You shut down all the background noise, and you shut down the phone. You know, everybody sometimes, music is good. I love music. I'm also a musician. So I love music. Music is a big thing that I use to kind of like get my way, getting back on track, getting my mind back focused. But that meditation, sometimes people want to keep adding all these tracks and putting all this music. You don't always have to have music. Sometimes you just need a place of quiet where it's nobody talking, there's no music, it's just silence. Those are the times when I feel like I can hear God's voice more clearly, when it's just completely silent. And I know he can speak through anything. He can speak through music. He can speak. I'm not denying that. But what I am saying is that understanding when you pray, and then you have a place and a time there reserved for meditation, you got to be serious about that. Because a lot of times we'll say we're praying, but God's not answering.
Ooh.
Maybe he is.
Maybe
you're just not listening.
What if maybe he gave you the signs and those flags, and you just not looking at them? Hello. What if that red flag? You say you overlook it. Hello.
Right.
You know, there was a story. You guys talked about it. There was I hear a story, and it just popped in my head, and I just wanted to share it. There was a man who was drowning, and he said, "God, I just wish you would send me some help."
Right.
And a boat drove by, and he said, "You need some help?" And the man said, "No, God got me." So he keeps saying, "God, I need your help."
Yeah.
And then another
I think
boat passed by.
in a plane or something.
Yeah. Passed by and said, "Hey, you need help?" And he said, "No, God got me." Moral of the story, fast forward, the man died, he drowned. And when he got to heaven, he questioned God. He said, "God, I thought you were going to help me." And God said, "I sent a boat. I sent a plane. I sent you a lifeboat. I sent you everything you need to escape your situation." And the man said, "Wow, I just didn't listen." So I challenge you. God may be trying to say something to you right now. But are you open? Are all of your intricacies open to receive the word of God clearly? Do you have time of quiet where your phone is not a distraction? Because listen, they are taking your time and attention in the phone with TikTok, Instagram, all of these different algorithms that are tailored to you. They are tailored to your digital blueprint, to your footprint, to what you like to see. So of course it's going to keep you scrolling, keep you laughing, because it's keeping you locked into this distraction. Are you shutting off all the distractions, the television, the radio, the everything? Just turn it off and just be silent and just let God move and speak to you. And what did he say?
So I sat there in that big fluffy chair, and God started speaking to me. And I said, "Okay, God, I'm here." When I was laying flat on my back, you asked me, was I going to do what you wanted me to do? And what I said I wanted. And I said, "I'm here now." And I said, "What's next?" And so he began to speak to me. And I always had an interest in real estate. That was the moment I got into real estate. And so the short of it is that I started taking, again, I took the accelerated class. I took the regular class for real estate is like 5 weeks, 7 weeks. I took the 1 week class and passed. Literally, I took this real estate class. I found it online. I'm like, I can't do 5 weeks. I got to get this done. I got stuff to do. And I took the class. I passed the class. And when you take real estate, there's a place where when people take the state exam, they have like 7 different, sometimes people have to take the test, like the state test, like 7 times because it's so challenging. The average person has to take the state exam 5 to 7 times before they pass. So I took the real estate class. I passed the first week and then signed up for the state exam. And literally like I passed
The
first time.
And that's an
The
anomaly.
first time.
Those state exams, they're not easy.
No.
I've taken several exams
Yeah.
to become a
Exactly.
financial advisor, and they are strenuous.
Very. Yes.
Even if you study and you take months to study this.
Yes.
The test work,
Exactly.
all the book work. The test is just so strenuous.
Yes. And so it literally was a girl sitting next to me when I was waiting for them to call me in to take the exam. It was maybe about 7 or 8 of us to go into the room, and she just breaking down crying. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, I don't need this girl like messing up my vibe. I'm like, whoa, I'm trying to stay focused. And she just crying. And I said, what's wrong? She's like, this is my 5th time taking this exam. I can't do this anymore. So I had to really shake that off. So I got up and went to the ladies' room, and I'm in there. I'm like just trying to shake off this negativity, right? Like, okay, no, I'm gonna do this first time. I'm not doing this thing 5 times. So I went in there and again passed the exam. So I got my real estate class done. I got my license within 30 days of me leaving GM.
Whew. Oh, man.
And I started selling houses. I went online, found me a broker. I went in, had an interview with him. He was like, you're hired. Here's your desk. I had everything I needed 30 days within leaving GM. So when I left, you asked about severance pay. I had full severance pay from GM because I was fully vested. You were vested after 10 years. So I got full severance pay for 18 years of service. And also they told me I could apply for unemployment. So I had unemployment coming in. I had severance pay coming in. And then I'm getting ready to make this real estate money. And so it was like I didn't miss a beat. So I tell people sometimes when you're in transition, don't look at it from a negative perspective. I told myself, this is what I told myself during that time. I said, girl, you're just taking a little vacation. You're going to be all right. And boom, that's when everything with the real estate started happening. And I started selling houses. And what's so crazy is I got into real estate. It was 2007 when I lost my job. Anybody knows anything about the real estate market? That was when the market started crashing. God put me in real estate when the market started crashing.
So you could buy all of them homes.
Listen.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying, God always has a plan. He always has a plan.
Ooh, so you were blessed during the recession.
Yes. I was blessed during the recession, blessed during the pandemic, blessed now, blessed going in, blessed coming out, all around blessed.
I have a saying that I'm blessed by the best, so I'm not gonna stress.
Ooh, I like that.
You know,
I like that.
And you certainly were blessed. And I mean, there's so many more questions that I want to ask because we haven't even gotten into owning your business yet. This is just the beginning. So we're gonna have to bring you back for a part 2.
We have to.
You down with that?
I am.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
I love to.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just getting excited about this because this right here is really, really good because it shows where you had a rise going up. You hit this peak. Pull down, and now you're going back up. This also like the stock market.
We'll have to touch on that next time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because guess what? I feel for the viewers here, it's okay to go have the ups and downs, but the best thing I want to tell you is how can you come back? How can you have that bounce back? You can't sit there, like I said, you can't sit there in a low place too long. It took her 30 days. 30 days?
That's it.
30? That's unheard of. But guess what? Out of those 30 days, what are you doing to improve your life? You are saying you are a pending millionaire, but what are you doing? Are you taking the time out to invest into yourself? I saw, as I'm hearing from Dr. Cox, she is saying, look, I'm at home. I got to get it going. I got to do accelerated courses. I took 1 week. I passed my real estate exam, and I got my license. 30 days. So now, for your 30 days, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because if you stay in that place of laying in the bed, you're going to miss your 30-day blessing. You're going to miss your 30-day destiny. So now that 30 days could take 60 days or 90 days, maybe a year, 5 years. But it all costs you. You want to lay in that bed. It's time to get up. You're in your pending status. You're in your pending status. And only way to change that pending status is you have to do the work. You cannot sit there and not do the work. You have a prime example right here of what ownership is. What getting up out of bed. What taking the necessary resources to go and get it.
Now I'll leave you with this. Like we say, when you are in your pending status, the only thing that's deterring you is what you are doing with your time. Time is the only currency that you spend and you don't get back. So what are you doing with your time today? We thank you for watching. You'll have to stay tuned and come back for part 2. We appreciate all our viewers for watching and tuning in to the Pending Millionaire Podcast. Don't forget, I'm your co-host, Andre Bell, and we were here with Dr.
Teresa
Cox.
Stay tuned for next episode.